Hey Coronation, it's Kendra Cook, your Director of Sales and Senior Real Estate Coach here, and we are back for your next Women in Business video series. It has been an honor to host this for the year, and today I have another special guest, and Cat Hedrick. And Cat has been here for a long time in a different role, but most recently she has assumed the responsibility of project manager. And so, Kat, to get started, tell us a little bit about how long you've been here and tell us what the day in the life of a project manager looks like. What do you do here?
Okay, well, thanks for having me, Kendra. It's a huge honor. So my job has changed a lot. I started as a level 3 concierge. One of my first coaches was Rita Casey. I was her assistant. So that was a fun start. I learned a lot from her. Mostly resilience. Mm-hmm. I think, I was young and green, so I wanted to not make calls. And, Rita, she wants you to make calls, and she wants you to call them 10 times. So right. She taught me some good lessons about prospecting and just hanging in there and getting the job done. So, but what do I do now? Wow, it's changed a lot. I was your concierge for a while.
And a really good one, too.
Yeah, thank you. And I've just had the pleasure to work some really great coaches, Josh Singman, Jim Reed, and you, of course. So I really counted myself lucky. That prepared me a lot for what I do now, which is a lot of self-guided work, which is easy and hard at the same time because, I answer to Britt, she's my boss, but she doesn't hold a tight rein over what I do. She trusts me. I've been here for 8 years to get the work done. So I have to be accountable to myself to getting projects done and finding new ones. So I think in a regular day, I come in, I get, my schedule printed, my to-do list, those qualities and tasks that I learned as a level 3 concierge, just modeling what we teach our students. And then I meet with Jason, he's our shipper, see what we have going on. Sometimes I work on merchandise, creating and ordering merchandise. Sometimes I'll help with videos, help with projects with you, with making new level 1 content, updating books, planning events, parties, making trees in the office. Really a lot of fun stuff. So it's different every day. I don't have a set schedule, which I like.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. You can finish.
I was just going to say it keeps me engaged because I get kind of tired of doing the same thing every day.
I love it. So a couple things she said in there is she holds herself accountable. So for those of you that struggle with us holding you accountable as a student, think about not having any accountability or very little accountability where you would be. So we know that that's what people pay us for. There's very few people like Kat that says, hey, trust me, I'll get it done, and she does. The other thing that I thought was interesting about that was she said, I go find things to do. So a lot of us right now are saying, hey, we have all these A players on our team, and maybe we're not generating as many leads or we don't have as many deal closings. How do I keep them busy? Empower them to go find some projects, tidy up some bookshelves, look at your merchandise or your drop-by gifts, look at your listing paperwork or your presentations, clean them up, go to the website, freshen up some pictures on there. Listen, there's a lot of things that need to be done in our business, and over the last few years, that's probably some of the things we're like, we'll get to it sometime. Well, that sometime is now. So I love that you brought those 2 points up. Next, my question for you is, I know your background is in restaurant, and you and I have that in common. That was the best job and the worst job I ever had.
Yeah.
I love the people, but I didn't love the hours. So give us a couple skills that you took away, because I know you were in restaurant management, high-end restaurant management for a long time. Couple things you took away from there that you use here as gifts for your job now.
Oh, wow. A lot of things. The restaurant business is very different. It's reactive. And so I'm very good at responding to situations. I think what challenged me coming into this role is being proactive and planning ahead, because so much of what we do here is, goal setting, business planning, event planning, planning for the future. So I think that was my biggest challenge, but being reactive helps me at events. So I like being at the events, the summits, the megas, the team trainings, because I'm on my feet and I'm moving around. And so that energy, I think, is higher at the events, and I struggle less with being around large groups of people, and I think a lot of our operations people struggle with that. So I think that's one thing that I've brought from that crowd movement, how to get through a big crowd. I can get through it in a flash.
Yes, and she is a problem solver too. She's not going to say that, but in restaurant business, just because I know that hat that she wore, the dishwasher doesn't show up. Guess what? You're the dishwasher.
Correct.
And you know, a server doesn't show up. Guess what? You're the server and running food, right?
Yep.
And we do that here at the core. I love that. One of the things that we're really good at is cross training, and like you said, being prepared. But being prepared just means when somebody throws you a curveball, you've got a couple solutions up here that you can run and grab. Rick and I are probably the most two structured people in the company, and so when you throw us a curveball, sometimes we can rise up and get a little emotional about it. And other times we can settle in, but having somebody like Kat knowing that she's got us, and hey, I don't have to worry about the merchandise is there. I don't have to worry about that the food's going to be great or the party's going to be wonderful. So those are great gifts that you bring to the team too.
Yep.
So let's talk about your family. I know you're a pretty proud mama.
Yes.
And wife.
Of one.
And yes, me too.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do for fun? Tell us about your family life and your home life.
We're really kind of boring. We don't do a whole lot. We have 2 dogs, which of course we spend a lot of time with them. My mom lives with us now, so I have mom in the house, so I gotta keep her busy and keep her with activities, puzzles, and things to keep her mind busy, so she doesn't get bored and kind of down in the dumps, which I think elderly people tend to do. We forget to love on them and our families. And we love Legos, we watch movies, we really just hang out at the house. Obviously, you mentioned that I came from the restaurant business. My husband, we met there. He used to be a chef, and so we cook a lot at home. Mostly he cooks, and I tell him what tastes, I eat it. So that's kind of how that dynamic works. But he's also in the business. He's a licensed LO, but he's on a team for LO here in Charlotte. So it's kind of nice that I get to, even though I'm not in the level 3 department anymore, I'm not hearing what's going on there, I get to hear from him what's happening still in the industry.
Right.
So it kind of keeps me in the loop. But yeah, just hanging out with them.
I love it.
Super boring.
She might kill me for saying this, but she kind of glazed over this a little bit earlier, but Kat does order all of our merch here. So when you come to our events and there's sweatshirts and there's cool notebooks and there's doggy things for your little dog and there's dog bowls and there's jackets and there's whatever else we get around here, Kat's in charge of it. So if you have this brilliant idea that you think we should look into, she's your girl. She might kill me for telling you that.
No, absolutely not. Actually, some of the best ideas that I've gotten have been from other employees here. I'm definitely new at this. I'm not afraid to be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I take lots of opinions, which is hard because you have to kind of filter through them and then make a decision. But I like having their input, and I think when they have some buy-in on the product, they're proud of it when they see it too.
Absolutely.
So, Hannah and Vanessa are super helpful with those products.
That's awesome. So as we wind up your big debut interview on Coronation Facebook and memorabilia here, give us a nugget, something that our students can take from you as they can put in their business, or how to lead their team, or how to manage projects, or just a nugget or two that you could give to our folks that they could take away from you today.
Well, I think one thing right now is just to find ways to stay busy. I know here the market in Charlotte is shifting towards a condo market, so I know my husband is getting certified and learning everything he can about condos and doing loans for those. I think staying up to date on what new loan programs are out there and creative, solutions for your clients of what they might be looking for. From that end, I think is super helpful. From a personal side, I really kind of struggled with change. I'm an ops person. Obviously, I'm an S, so I'm a little slower to like the change, but it's necessary. I understand that. But I've always felt the pain of the change before I saw the fruit of the change. And I think that's been the biggest lesson for me here at the core is you got to stick in there. even though it hurts, and it hurts sometimes, if you know Rick, it hurts, but he's not wrong. And it's always for your own personal growth.
Wow.
So that's my biggest lesson.
2 great lessons there, you guys. Holy cow. Always be a student. Never think you have it all figured out, because just when you do, you get your clock cleaned.
Yes.
And number 2 is there will be pain when there's change, but there will be growth in the end. So take a little bit of suffering, take a little bit of authoritative coaching, feel that pain a little bit, but watch where the growth takes you. I think those are awesome lessons coming from the project girl who did not want to do this interview. And so another month in the books of women in business. And we started this series, guys, because so many people are like, oh, it's a man's world. Rick's the dominant person at the core. And we're like, do you guys realize all the women that support the man? And so we thought this would be a fun series to do this year. We have a couple more for you before we wrap up the end of the year. So stay tuned for our next Women in Business series. And thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one.